Start recording. And we're live back with you with another WittyBantr episode. Anika is missing right now. Hopefully she'll join us temporarily. But we have a special guest, Michael Parayu from New York. Welcome, Michael.
Hello, everybody.
And we also have another special guest, Pygmy Goat.
Oh, yes. What is a pygmy goat? Why do you say pygmy?
I think it's like a baby goat. I don't know.
I
Pygmy.
think it's just something. I don't know if it's baby because it's the same with like pygmy monkeys, right?
Yeah.
It's like smaller.
Yeah, good point.
Pygmy monkeys was the thing.
I think I saw that in World of Warcraft. Some pygmy monkeys.
Are pygmy monkeys the one that are on your finger? Have you seen those ones or no?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. The little toys?
No, there's like living monkeys that are like the size of like your hand.
What? Oh man.
Let me see if like one of my friends made it up when they were high.
All right. Damn, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we should have like a screen dedicated to things we can find. Pull
that.
up. Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, seriously. So while you're looking that up, I'm gonna pick your brain here. So you were recently in Delaware. Can you explain why you went to Delaware? Oh, let's see the pygmy. Wow, that is a real.
I know it's a big monkey or it's Photoshop, but it's a monkey on a finger. I don't know.
Oh,
We
Faisal.
gotta research later.
Faisal comes in. Faisal's in the chat. Nice of you guys to honor me with the goat pick. Yeah.
I think it was more like the pygmy goat or pygmy.
Michael's manager. So yeah, you were in Delaware recently. What were you up to over there?
Taking the National Board's dental licensing exam.
Is that for New York only, or is that for nationwide?
So there's two licensing exams. One is like the national boards just to get licensed in general for everywhere.
In the United States or globally?
I'm pretty sure it's like United States and like everywhere. I'm pretty sure. I'm not too sure about like how it is if I wouldn't want to work in Dubai.
Right.
I think it's like it would qualify for like over there too.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that one everyone has to pass. The other one is like the Western Regional exam that I'm trying to get like one of my family to come that you have to actually like drill on a patient in person. And that one's from like California, a bunch of like West Coast states.
Gotcha. And so you haven't done that one yet, but you want to?
I've done. There's parts to it too. So like 2 years ago, I took the first part of this exam during my sophomore year, and then the second part was right now. And then for that Rev exam, the Western one, the first part of that one was like a test back in October. That was pretty easy. And then there's a patient part in March. But if I pass this section right now for the national one, I'm done, and I've got that license done. But the Western California one, I gotta wait till March. But that's the last step is in March.
Gotcha. And your experience in Delaware, I'm curious what you thought, because me and Monem, we drove across the country and we started driving into these states that you don't really hear about, and
Tennessee.
Oh yeah, and there's a reason for that.
So when we were driving,
but we talked about this. I have a very similar opinion to you. It's like there's like a few places in the country that are worth living.
Yeah.
And everywhere else is like pretty bad. I also could have maybe like not went to the good part of Delaware. But yeah, to me it's like I can understand why you'd want to go to Florida. I've gone to Toronto and like Montreal. Those places are nice. Where we live is nice. But yeah, like.
What about Texas? Do you think you could live there?
Texas, for the money I could.
For the right price.
like Texas is a nice place where if I'm there for a year or two just making a good amount of money, I would like suck it up. That's what David did, my cousin. Like he went and worked there, got a lot of money to pay off the loans, and then after that he was like I think he moved to LA. I think now he's like back in back in the Bay Area. But yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Long term, you wouldn't live there.
I don't like being in hot areas either.
Yeah.
So like, I couldn't do that.
I wonder what.
The summer here is way too hot.
I wonder what happens to these states. Like, are they just like in my perspective? It seems like if you don't have a technology sector in your state, then you miss out on a lot of jobs, or if you don't have
Yeah,
any of the traditional industry for some
dude, I
reason.
was literally thinking about that today.
Hmm.
And I wanted to see. Well, your mom's not here, but I was gonna ask her about that because like I was gonna ask if us growing up in the Bay Area influenced us to like because we grew up in like a tech area.
Hmm.
That's what because I was thinking that's exactly what I don't like about these places is like there's nothing to do and it feels like it's very backwardsy. Like it felt like I was like in a bar like from what I've seen from movies in the 80s.
Hmm.
Like it felt like I was at like restaurants from the 80s where it's like that Fuddruckers place which
Right.
like everyone over here like loves.
Hmm.
And it was just like it reminded me. I don't know if you guys seen Office Space, but it
Yeah.
reminded me
Yeah.
of that type of thing where like they had to wear like all these like things,
Hmm.
and it's just like everyone looked miserable to be there.
Right.
I think I think they still do have like office jobs though, like what is it like the show or just the office.
Oh, like a
That's an
paper
actual
company or something.
yeah, and I've read like a lot of people say that like if you actually go there, it's very similar. It's almost exactly like the show.
Right.
um,
And I guess,
but
yeah, I guess California has those.
kind of
uh,
towns
Yeah, I guess the kind of
Go
in
like
between.
Redding,
That's what I
California.
was thinking. Like I was thinking like oh like what if I was like an outsider from California and I just visited somewhere like Truckee,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
I was like, okay, a place like Truckee is like somewhere like Delaware. It's just like not really anything to do. Like it's just like a bunch of random restaurants and a town you just kind of drive through. There's nothing special about it.
Right.
Hmm.
So I was thinking like, so maybe I just went to the wrong place to like Delaware, where like it's not really like where things are going on. But I kind of got the vibe from like the bus ride and the train ride back that the whole place is kind of like that.
Yeah.
So,
I got
So
those
dope.
vibes all throughout the East Coast,
Through
and then
Jersey.
going through Missouri and
yeah,
Arkansas were the worst.
Hmm.
yeah. To me, it's like at least up here, it's like Manhattan and like it extends to Brooklyn is like where like things are like fun and like you can actually do things.
Fresh
But
and
the
new.
second you get
Hmm.
out of that area of Brooklyn, because even once we got to that restaurant, the famous pizza restaurant,
Hmm.
I was like in that area, I was like, dude, I would not want to live here. like,
Right.
and that pizza place was like a really famous spot too. I was just like, and then like especially sometimes I've taken like through Long Island when I've gone to JFK, I've taken like that like a van ride where they don't take the highway and sometimes I go through the streets
Hmm.
Hmm.
and I'm just this place like looks horrible like
Yeah.
abandoned warehouses, which in California you don't really see that. You don't really see like abandoned warehouses and like
Maybe
weird things like
South
that,
San
like old
Francisco,
shut
but
down
even there,
factories.
yeah.
No, yeah, definitely in the Bay Area you don't see that, and then I don't know, I haven't really explored outside that
Maybe around
much.
Richmond, I don't know.
It's possible, but no, even then it's like a different vibe over there. Like those
Yeah,
are really abandoned.
Yeah.
no,
Like,
not yet.
I
Like I
wonder,
remember the first one I really saw that kind of stuck out to me was when we were apartment hunting for Nabil, and like next to one of the nice apartment things that he was looking at, there was just this like abandoned like I don't know even know what it was, but I just remember like all like the windows were like broken like as a movie, and like it just looks like oh this is like a scene where like someone goes and like rapes someone.
was this the one next to Irby, the one I did choose? Because that had it was in an industrial kind of town. Um,
Yeah, maybe. I just remember it.
around
I
that
think
area.
it might have been the one next to Irving, but I just remember like being like it was like a really nice like a bunch of apartments,
yeah,
And then
and then
just one.
sudden across the street is just this abandoned
yeah.
like building that just looks like oh my god, dude,
Super sketch.
God knows what goes on there at night.
I feel like it's probably from like when there were manufacturing jobs there, I'm assuming. Like
Yeah, probably,
Detroit.
and they're just now constructing new apartments. I mean, funny enough, like it didn't when you were in my apartment and then within the property, like
It wasn't
you
that
didn't
bad.
see really the outside, so it felt like, oh, this is kind of new and fresh. And but
Mm.
then yes, as soon as you like take a walk for 5 minutes outside,
It's
then
very evident.
yes,
Oh yeah, that's the other thing about like the East Coast that's crazy is because it's like everything was established here way longer. There's still some buildings from like a way long time ago, like maybe like in like the 1800s or whatever,
right,
and it's like really clear that there's been like maybe they've like done some maintenance like to keep it up to like code like of the cities and stuff, but it's like it looks like it was made in like the 1800s. Like whereas California, it's like
everything's
we got like
newer.
Spanish styles of houses and stuff like that, and like everything kind of like you get like a lot, especially where we're from too.
Yeah,
You get like
Very
like
nice or
like
different
like
looking.
yeah,
and the older
like
buildings, like you
it's like
have up. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like even like Canfield Commons, like everything in California just like looks like modern things, like modern houses.
That's
Where here it's just like I don't know, it looks like it's like from different time.
right. Yeah, this house in Kentfield Commons, these houses were built in the 80s. I know that. The buildings over there, like I feel like there's an opportunity for you to,
Renovate.
yeah, renovate and make it like good. But yeah, I noticed that like a lot of the buildings just seem old and like nobody cares to
Yeah.
freshen it up and stuff.
I guess it doesn't matter if they're older building because like technically this is an older building, but once they start renovating and stuff, then it's worth it. But yeah, that's kind of weird that I guess they just keep it like that.
Yeah. So I know you've talked about this a few times, Michael, but you're coming close to picking a location to start your dentistry career.
Do you have a top five?
Do you, as of recent, what is your what are you thinking about where you?
I mean, I definitely have like, top five. It depends on like the offers I get, which like I think you guys help me write my resume, or maybe like Bertil help me.
Hmm.
But
But
yeah, it's highly dependent on my fiance Bertil's job. Like that's like the biggest factor, and then also the offer from the corporate office or like wherever I work. That's like the big other thing. But like location wise, it's like pretty much anywhere that accepts like my license, which it looks like I was checking it with like a Brazil the other day. It's like Texas, Missouri, Washington, Oregon, California, and the latter four are the ones I would go to: Texas, Washington, Oregon, California.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
the
don't
same.
recommend Missouri.
And the other one is Colorado too. But I
Ooh, that would
don't
be
think
good.
any offer is gonna beat Washington or Texas
mm.
because
Mm.
they don't pay. I think they don't pay the income tax, right? Um,
I'm not sure.
In Washington or Texas?
yeah, I think
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe one of the viewers know. I know there's like a Washington, Texas are like two of the only states where you don't have to pay like I think income taxes.
Gotcha.
really?
And
So yeah,
would you be locking this down before you graduate, or would you start interviewing after you've
I
graduated?
mean I don't have. So with dentistry, after I graduate, there's a time period you usually have to wait that you could work,
Hmm.
which like the state you're gonna go work in can expedite the process for them to give you the state license. But usually it takes 3 months from your graduation date. So I wouldn't really be doing anything during that time anyway. So I'd be happy like going on interviews then. But the corporate offices want to lock us down now, so we don't like get because it's ideally like that's the whole thing is like a corporate office job like pays you more, but it's more run by business people and not dentists.
Hmm.
Where it's the more ideal situation is to go work for another dentist that's like on his way out, kind of retiring, and you just take over his practice. But they don't really want to hire fresh out of school grads because we're like so slow at working,
Mm-hmm.
and they rather like and on top of it, they'd want to pay you a lot less too because you're slower.
Hmm.
Where like you'd make like maybe like I don't know, I haven't like heard in the office, but I'm assuming somewhere between like 60 to 90,000.
Hmm.
Where it's like a corporate office will pay you like 150 to like 200.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
it's like yeah, so
It's
Yeah.
really
so
dependent on
those
where
are
you
the
get an
two.
offer, I guess.
Wait, what you say, Daniel?
I said it's dependent on like where you would get an offer, but like, do you have like, let's say, ideally they all gave you an offer. What would be your top five or top three places? You said
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah, I
Uh,
would rather live in Washington, and then one of the corporate offices I want to work for in California is in like I forget what's the name of that county, but it's like where Oakland is, Livermore, Pleasanton, like Walnut Creek.
Butte
Uh,
County.
huh?
Is it Butte County? I don't know.
Never heard of
I
it.
just
It's
know
one
it's.
that starts with
Uh,
a C, like Contra Costa County.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's it.
but
I should know. But
yeah,
anyway.
but that company also seems like they're pushing me to work in Sacramento, which I'd be okay. But if Bertil still has a good job in like the Bay Area and Nvidia keeps her,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
it's like maybe I'd have to press them to give me a job like in Walnut Creek, and I just commute from like
Yes, we would like that very much,
Yeah.
Michael.
yeah,
Faisal says anywhere West Coast, the best coast.
Yes.
yeah. And
So,
especially the Texas one that's in contact with me is also like they only do pediatric dentistry, which I don't have a problem with that. But learning wise, I really want to go to somewhere that's going to teach me so I can get better.
Hmm.
and like because like working at school is completely different than working outside of school and running your own business. And if I'm just working on like kids all day, you're only doing like a very small field of dentistry. So it's like I'm kind of worried if I just do that for the money, I won't really like learn anything crazy.
Hmm.
Right.
At
That's
what point would you want to start your own practice, or is that like even in the horizon?
Um, yeah, like probably I'm assuming like 5 years. It's all like financial things. Like
Hmm.
one factor is when do I get fast enough to be able to like pay off my own practice, like the staff and like all the overhead of like equipment and stuff like that, and like the rent
Hmm.
of like property. But then the other thing is also like I have loans, and then this wedding is gonna cost a lot of money, and then yeah, just paying all that stuff off is gonna take a while.
Hmm.
Like paying it off and then having the capital to start that, it's probably gonna be like a few years, but
right.
I don't.
Now, speaking of incomes, I know you like to talk about kind of side hustles, like thinking of new business ideas and wanting to invest in
Ooh,
stuff.
I have an update on mine, by the way.
Okay. So, Michael, is there anything recently you've been thinking about that you'd, while you're, practicing dentistry, you'd want to either invest in? And actually, I'm curious, would you want to just be an investor, or would you also want to get involved in like managing and developing that, or would that maybe be too much?
I think that's too much. Like now that I've been doing the dentistry thing, it like that's what I've been trying to get to do with Teal, which I hope at one day, like at one point, she can do it, and that's what I'm trying to like push her towards now. Is for her to learn something like that, where like if she can learn the managing skills for like real estate, property, investing, and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and I can just focus on dentistry and make capital for her to like invest,
Right.
that would be my dream situation. But I don't know if she's like would enjoy that. So
Hmm.
my other dream situation is having like Daniel, who's like done like the property stuff for I forget the company he
Yeah, the
worked for,
hive
but
and yeah.
yeah, but just like maybe using one of my friends. And I have other ideas which you don't want to do, but I think would be a million
That's
because
true.
like dentistry is such like a niche market where there's not that many like there's like everything is like really old school and like things are starting to change now where there's like a lot of CAD CAM stuff, a lot of 3D printing stuff going on.
Hmm.
That's like expediting a lot of stuff, and there's like a lot of like software things,
Yeah, I
and
could imagine the software specifically, like, when you're a software engineer, you generally tend to flock to tech
yeah,
companies as opposed to like the dentist industry where there's still improvements that can be made and you can make money off of it.
Hmm.
but that's like my dream situation with that is like I know there's so many like random things in dentistry where like they can be vastly improved with technology, especially like for all our lab work stuff where we send out like dentures and like teeth or
Hmm.
dentures and crown and stuff. Like we have to send it to a lab, wait for the lab to make it, and then the lab sends us back. And like there's if like 3D printing and stuff like that gets like affordable or like 3D milling with like CAD CAM
Hmm.
like gets affordable to the point where like a dentist can just have that in his own office and like you can like things that usually take like a few weeks to get for patients like dentures where they don't want to be without teeth like for that long like and you can expedite that to like oh like it's just going to take like 4 hours for this thing to mill and then we can get those in for you right now. It's like that's one area that's
Right.
like a big
Can be
thing. The
lucrative.
software stuff is a big money thing. Like
Well, the
there's a lot of things I've been like kind of like thinking
hmm.
that like once I come back I'll talk to the people about and see.
Yeah, you can. I may not be on board now, but the more
He
I
has his
learn,
phases.
yeah, I have phases. The more I learn, you never know. I
Yeah,
could.
worst case scenario, I know like a Jeep's like money hungry like me. I'll go to Jeep.
Very true.
So like your first job out of dentistry, would it be a 9 to 5, or would they have you working after hours, or like
Oh,
would
oh
you
yeah,
even have time to?
it'd be 9 to 5, but I want something where like I love working and I get like anxious when I'm not working. So
Hmm.
like one of the big things I liked about the Texas one was they require you to work like one Saturday of the week or something.
Hmm.
Where like at the beginning, like I would like want to work at a place that's open. That's like one of the things I asked like um, these corporate offices: Are you guys open on Saturdays, or can I go to a different office on Saturday
Hmm.
and work so I can get paid an extra day?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
pretty
it would
nice.
be it would be 9 to 5, but it depends on the office. If it's like your own office, that's like one of the things that's nice about a dentist because you're your own boss. You can choose whatever hours you want to.
Right.
But I like get bored and I like working, so
Hmm.
so I would choose whatever, giving the maximum.
You were
Yeah.
mentioning you had some idea
Oh,
about
update.
business or
Yeah,
update.
yeah. So with the coffee thing, I had it on stall for a little while just because the cost of a roaster is like you can get an inexpensive one, but that's usually only used for home roasts, and those go up to like $8,000.
Hmm.
And so the commercial ones that I would want to use for my coffee business go up to like 15,000.
Wow.
But I do have a friend now who's actually like roasting and has, I guess he has a friend as well that they do it.
But would you be
That's
only roasting the cat poop coffee or like
no,
all types
no,
of?
no. Yeah, this would be whatever. To be honest, it would be whatever like they're already roasting because they're planning on selling online as well.
So they
But
have one of these machines that are $15,000.
yeah, yeah. So he's working at the roastery and he's
Oh, that
selling
has
there.
the.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it kind of gets a little sketchy because I don't know if it's actually theirs or what's the deal with it.
Oh.
But anyway, they're gonna be sending me samples and I'm gonna test them out. And I will be basically buying from them and then selling online until I have enough
And is it just the bean?
to buy
The
my own
beans you're
roaster.
selling?
Yeah, just the beans.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't be a
Oh,
coffee
so it's
truck.
not. I thought you were doing it specifically for the cat stuff.
The
Because like
cat
that
poo
one
now.
is like a high end.
Well, I mean, to be honest, if there was like
Gotta have
a
a lot of
demand
cats.
for it, yeah, gotta have a lot of cats. If
Yeah, because I know like a while ago it was, but I was gonna ask like because no one in like in America is doing that, right? But I was gonna ask, I think is there like a legal issue with getting that plant over here?
that's what I have to find out. Like, is there? I feel like there's
I mean,
maybe some
You
FDA.
need to
Because
be
it's
milking.
definitely not cats. I can get you cats.
Yeah, we got cats on deck. But yeah, I don't know the legality of that. But it is an idea that I would probably put on the market if it
That's what I
wasn't
want
that
to
hard.
see. Like Daniel just in charge. Like Daniel's house just have a huge whole farm of cats.
A cat mill.
Meow.
Like
Come
a
on, cats.
Minecraft farm, like me and Nabil used to make. Just like all their
Yeah,
food.
me and Michael,
Have them pooping.
me and Michael step in.
You click a button and then like a waterfall comes down and clears all their food into a little box.
That would be hilarious.
That would be.
So yeah, but I think it would be a good idea for transitioning, like for me,
Okay.
because I don't know. I feel like investing all into that equipment, and then like, what if I don't get any
Yeah,
customers?
I agree.
You
If
know?
you could get out of investing 15K.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and how would you market it?
with my digital advertising skills, so I'll probably be using Facebook and Instagram
Hmm.
advertising as well as Google AdWords. But I want to keep it specific to Redwood City at first, just so I can. I guess my edge would be like freshly roasted, delivery within a day, and I would be delivering it myself.
Okay. So this would
And
be
then-
within the Bay Area.
Yes,
Wait, you're just
At least
delivering the
initially-
beans, or
initially.
You're making the coffee.
I wouldn't be making the coffee.
You wouldn't look into like
But I would be-
shipping with UPS, like any other product.
Yeah. I'm just saying like as far as like so like the amount of money I would be putting in. Let's say I'm putting in 1,000 per month in advertising. I wouldn't be able to do that like nationwide. I would only
Why
do
not?
it in
It would cost more.
Yeah, it would cost a lot more.
Okay.
Just because the way digital
From what I've seen
advertising
from
works is
Shark
they
Tank.
what?
I was gonna say from what I've seen from like Shark Tank for that type of stuff, they like try to sell locally at like farmers markets and stuff first. Then
Right.
they try to get like a local like Trader Joe's to like sell their stuff and then like upgrade from there.
Exactly. So it would be like farmers market, like the one next to Trader Joe's.
Hmm.
Sell there, start small, and then like eventually. I mean, I would have my own website. Like Faisal's
Yeah,
asking,
Faisal-
I don't have my website up yet.
Okay.
But I would sell and ship online. But I think where most of my money spending on this or investing will be just locally.
Gotcha.
But yeah, waiting for the samples, and then we'll.
Nice.
Wait,
It-
so where are you getting the beans though? Like what makes them special
Uh,
from someone?
So the roastery is in Palo Alto. Like, are you asking like why wouldn't you just buy?
Yeah, like why would I buy your beans instead of something from like Trader
Say
Joe's? Like,
yeah, that's a good question. So
Like,
The
do they
main
get
thing
like
is
the because like the Amazon ones you get like I know have like a lot of caffeine in them, something like that, right? Like the I
right,
remember you
right.
told me, but I forget what it's called. But it's like a really strong brand of like beans. But like,
Yeah,
what makes
Death
yours
Wish.
special?
Yeah, so the main thing is freshly roasted. So they do have roasteries around the Bay Area that you can go and get yourself, and even on Amazon. But the difference between like buying from Amazon and also buying it from the store is that you don't know how long it's been on the shelf. And so the coffee can be like inconsistent. So you can have coffee that's been sitting there for like for months to a year, or they just roasted it that month. But my edge would be like you're getting this roasted on a weekly basis, and it would be marketed more to people who want good coffee and I guess like freshly roasted coffee. So that would be I guess the edge, and then but you still get the ability to have that 1 day shipping like
Mm.
you do on
Yeah.
Amazon.
So to interject here, Selma Tufail has written a comment. I've
Mm.
been reading a book which says that the future is in big data. Would companies that accumulate, control data be the best to invest in? If so, which companies would you park your money in? Interesting.
Ooh,
So the companies that accumulate and control data. So I mean, you could take like
like
Facebook and
Google,
Google for
yeah.
example. Um, I guess collecting data is one thing in regards to big data.
Or even MuleSoft, all those companies. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, so yeah, MuleSoft is a good example. So MuleSoft's a company that recently got acquired for like $5 billion or something,
Mm.
and they're basically they build APIs for companies, and what that means is um, companies have information that isn't being used. So, for example, a grocery store has information of like what kind of foods are being purchased by which people and the frequency of that. But sometimes these companies they lack uh, the uh, technological inclination to put together the software to be able to pull that data and analyze it and then make actions based
Like
on that.
another example, MuleSoft has a client that is like a brewery.
Brewery.
um, but so what they do is they're using their data to analyze and see what brew is selling faster.
Mm-hmm.
That way, they're able to stock on that specific brew
Mm.
before it sells out. But yeah, they do it for a bunch of different reasons.
Gotcha.
Like
So yeah, so in regards to big data,
she was
what
asking about investing.
oh yeah, what company would you invest in that's a company that's accumulating data?
We don't really
The only way
invest
to
in
invest is
individual.
like stocks, right?
Yeah,
Because they don't really need money from us, right? Well, I don't know.
Say that
You guys
again.
know
I
more about
couldn't
this.
hear you.
Like, but does she just mean like stocks wise?
Yeah, I think she
Like
just means
for
stock wise.
yeah.
okay. Yeah, you guys know more about this.
We so I mean I guess you can say speak in
Uh,
as well, but we don't usually invest in individual stocks. Ours is usually
Well, yeah, that's one
right.
thing. I'm against investing in individual stocks because that's a dangerous game. I like to invest in index funds, so that's like a collection of all the companies. So granted, you're not going to make as much money as you would um, investing in individual stocks, but it's safer and you will make money over time. So that's my strategy. But if you were to invest in a specific company,
I feel like you'd have to have a lot of knowledge. I
it
think that's
depends. So
because
I
I
guess
don't have that.
collecting data is one thing, but collecting data and making it useful is another thing. Um, so you kind of have to look into it. But it sounds like this MuleSoft company would be kind of the type of companies you want to look into is people who are making APIs.
That would be Salesforce, I guess, because they
Uh,
bought MuleSoft.
yeah, or Salesforce.
Yeah,
But yeah, I couldn't say a specific
specific
company.
company. Yeah,
MoviePass.
you can make
Yeah.
a lot of money investing in individual stocks, but
You really have
you
to
don't
you have to know a
know.
lot.
Yeah, which I don't.
Did Facebook stock drop a lot after all their stuff with Zuckerberg? Because I haven't been paying attention
A
to it, but like
lot.
I'd assume it must have dropped a crazy amount after like he keeps getting in trouble. At least from what I've seen on Reddit. I have no
Yeah,
clue what
I think a lot of technological companies over the past few months have been going lower, like
I
Nvidia
know
as
my
well.
mom told me Nvidia went down like crazy
Oh
too.
yeah.
Well, and also the whole market went down recently
Yeah.
too, so that could be part of it. But
Thanks, Obama.
yeah, I don't know about Facebook. I only saw some headlines, and there's something like he's like, I'm not stepping down from CEO. So it sounds like they want to get rid of him.
You're talking about the shareholders, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But yeah.
That's a dangerous game. Like,
So,
especially with like Elon Musk, where he's like where he's kind of like you can tell he's like intentionally saying stupid things to drop on purpose.
yeah.
And it's like, oh come on, dude, just shut up, man.
Are you doing this?
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of scary when it's like that. Like, and then what was the other one? Like, Bezos is getting a divorce, and like, doesn't that like drops their stock? Right? I mean, I haven't been paying attention to it.
We
But
said
I'm assuming something stupid like that, like has nothing to do with really like how the company is like performing. But
Right.
it's like, oh, this guy's getting a divorce, and now their stock's
oh,
gonna
For
that.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, I think those
Yeah.
things are really temporary. So yeah, you're right. In general,
so
the
hard.
market reacts to any sort of negative news, whether it's tied to the company or not.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but if you're a long-term investor like me, you don't even worry about these things.
And interestingly enough, the guy who created these index funds, who created, I guess, Vanguard, had died. I
Oh.
think he died last week.
Jack Bogle?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, he died?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man.
And Warren Buffett's like, he was probably the greatest person for investing because he created the index fund that had, I guess index funds are just lower management fees than mutual funds.
No,
right?
so mutual funds is like a company will actively buy and sell stuff, a portfolio for you. So they're going to charge you a fee, and they're going to keep buying and selling to kind of.
Someone call Munham. This is his area, bro.
Yeah, that is true. We could if Munim's there, we could special.
He's watching a game right now.
Oh.
all the stuff I know about any of this is from asking him. Like, oh, my mom told me this, but what do you think I should be doing?
Let me
And I'm, like,
see
trying to
who's there.
educate me on this.
Hey Munim, if you want to make a special appearance for talking about stocks, feel free to let me know if you're interested.
I think he has his headphones.
Yeah, he might
on.
have his headphones on.
But you were talking about index.
He might be watching the game.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You're talking about difference between index funds and mutual funds. Yeah, he's probably ignoring.
Yeah.
He's like, these assholes, their stupid podcasts. I'm trying to watch this.
Yeah. So yeah, mutual funds are like actively managed. So Jack Bogle, I don't know if he was the first or one of the first to create an index fund where their job. So a mutual fund's job is to make you money. An index fund's job is to reflect the market. It's not to make money. So their job is to reflect the whole market. So, and I don't know the details on how they do that, but yeah, they have expense ratios, which is a cost, but it's different from like a management fee of me buying and selling. So
it's probably a lower.
Oh, it's way lower. So, and then over time, historically, since the stock market has been a thing, stocks have go up 10% on average a year. So these index funds are good if you're a long-term player to just, you put the money in, you just stay there and it just stays there forever. And then a lot of these funds give dividends, so.
And compounds as well.
Yeah, well, yes, and all this interest is compounds. Let's see, Selma also says, I also read that the whole internet experience is the largest experiment in anarchy. That's probably why there are teething problems with Facebook. Whoa, she put in a dentistry reference. I don't know if that was intentional.
I think it was.
Thanks for the info regarding API, etc. That's probably why. Oh, I mean, sorry.
Wait, what was the second sentence?
That's probably why there are teething problems with Facebook. So she heard that the whole internet experience is the largest experiment in anarchy. Maybe you could. What do you mean by that? But I kind of get it.
For currency, Bitcoin.
Yeah, so the internet is like a neutral ground, right? And people are trying to claim it, like the cable provider, internet providers, ISPs. They had that whole thing like a couple years ago
about
where
net neutrality.
Yeah, about net neutrality. Yeah, it's like the wild wild west right now, but it's slowly. I mean, governments and other organizations are trying to.
In countries, it's pretty regulated, right? I don't know too much about it.
True.
I remember in like Dubai. Well, your aunt's from Dubai, so she might know it too. But I know when I used to go visit my cousins in Dubai, like a lot of stuff was regulated. I think like because I've seen protests about on Reddit, like in some places, like social media is like highly regulated and stuff like that, like Twitter and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
so
YouTube in Pakistan is
so
banned,
for
right?
one, yeah, in Pakistan, YouTube is banned, so you can't even access it unless you use a
VPN.
VPN.
Oh.
But yeah, the good point. Yeah, there's definitely countries that do highly regulate it, and it provides for a negative user experience.
And even Google for a while they didn't want to work
With China.
with China, right? But now recently they're like, all right, we'll do it because another competitor is kind of
Right. The
taking
rules
over.
have been established. It's like colonialism. Whoever claims something first is the name of the king.
It's
Yeah.
like Game of
The only
Thrones.
thing, yes, the difference I see here is the governments the entities who want to control it seem to be non-technologists. So the problem with that is they lack the knowledge of how the ins and outs of the internet and technology and how it works.
Hmm.
And so with that, you don't really have the power. You can say things like, for instance, Pirate Bay. Now, I think recently they've been really getting cracked down.
Hmm.
But like when they first were going to court, the original guys, they would just have a bunch of like mirror sites going up, and like yeah, they thought they would bring it down, but they really didn't for a long time. Now I don't know what's going on. I noticed if I try and search for Pirate Bay,
Doesn't
uh,
I?
the links are really messed up.
I think that has to do with the way like Google's search engine works too, because I've heard that like they don't put those like the actual links up, but I don't know.
Yeah, for those
They
who
try
are
to get rid
listening,
of it.
Pirate
Yeah,
Bay.
on Reddit, yeah. Not that I was pirating anything, but like there's definitely no links to any of them online. It's just like links like like a certain like cracked like don't you understand
Yeah,
links
yeah.
like
Like log in
crack
here.
game stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you search like on Reddit for crack games, they'll just tell you if the crack exists and what the aim of it is, but
Hmm.
they won't like link it, or they'll have to delete the thing. So
Right.
Hmm.
And yeah, so yeah, I still think we're in a time of like, you know, people are trying to uh, control technology and the internet.
Hmm. I feel like
But to be able
there's
to control it,
uh,
you need to also be ahead of it too, because it's
hmm.
technology is ever evolving, and you know it's so fast that if you fall behind, you know you're not gonna have the power.
Well, I guess when she
also,
says
I think Donnie, you go.
oh, I was gonna say when she says like colonialism,
Hmm.
I feel like it might not be a battle of like governments trying to fight over internet. It's
Hmm.
probably of the companies trying to get like
Companies versus
attention
companies.
or like different searches. Like there's always a fight between Google and all the other companies over their search algorithm because they might not be putting the one that you know is organic
Right.
versus their own shopping links and their own suggestions. So
Right.
I guess the war would be between the companies, not the
Like Google versus
governments.
Bing or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say the timing as well too. Like I feel like with internet, they like the ISPs like we got their hands on it before like it became. I don't know how to explain it, but like I feel like since like it was unregulated for so long and people got used to it being unregulated here, it's
Hmm.
like now it's like you're taking away like
Freedom.
I always see the term in what's it called like on Reddit like the difference between a utility and like something else. And
Oh,
Oh,
I know
like
what
a
you're
right?
I
saying.
don't know. I
Yeah.
forget what the other word is
Priv-
though, but it's like kind of like how we like everyone has like basics like access to water and like stuff like that.
Basic
Like
rights or
I
basic, yeah.
like a right versus a privilege kind of
Right.
thing.
yeah. So it's like something it's like that we have to pay for and something like that should just be provided. And I always see that in like the debates about net neutrality is like it's like now like because we've had internet unregulated for so long, it's kind
Hmm.
of like it's harder for them to take it away. Where if they had already like regulated it when it first came out, it would have been a little bit easier.
Right. Well, yeah.
There are
Do we all agree that it should be a right or a privilege? I think it should. I think it has to be a right. Like this is
yeah.
if you don't have information, like you in the dark. If I don't have the internet for like 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, but like a day, like you feel like, whoa, like I
So
don't
you
know what's
think
going on.
when ISPs will like limit your data, you think they're kind of preventing a right?
The limiting data is one thing, but I think it's more of the
Like when they have data
the
caps.
extremes, like limiting websites, like maybe what happens in China and these third world countries, like
Mm.
limiting, like you can't see YouTube. Like paying for your data package is a whole another argument.
Mm. Well, it could be like, what if they have their own product, like Comcast has cable, and they're like, Netflix, you don't need that as much, so they start limiting the bandwidth
No,
you can.
actually, yes, you're
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
100% right, because it should be like it should be like electricity, like just you're paying for like the bandwidth, the amount of data you throughput, just
Right,
like you would electricity. There shouldn't be what you were just saying,
right, where they
which I
can.
think it was what the argument was for the
And
whole net
I
neutrality.
think that's the problem when, since it is, I mean, one, they could put laws on it, but the other thing is, like with electricity, it's private and publicly owned, right?
Right,
So you would have to have some sort of
regulation.
regulation on it.
But yes, the ISPs should only be in charge of providing the the bandwidth, but the content that goes through should not be regulated by them at least.
Right, right.
And in general, I don't think it should be regulated. Um,
Yeah.
it should be a right. All right, we're all on the
All
same
right.
page here. um,
Actually, I was wondering about how has like the internet changed dentistry? Like I know you have like a few like
For like
Instagram
us or for
dentists.
like you as patients?
I guess both. So for I guess on the consumer end, there's a lot more research that you can do before you find a dentist. But
Yeah.
from a dentistry standpoint, is there a lot they're teaching you in school about like ways you can utilize the internet or?
Not really. Like they don't really teach us anything.
That's funny.
It's like the social media things. I mean, we have this. I hope to God none of the kids from school find this. But there's this like creepy third year kid that
Hmm.
has like I don't know. He has like I don't know what's a lot of followers. So I'm not really on social media, but he has like a good like 20,000 kids following him
Hmm.
and on Instagram, and he's like a third year student, and he's already like doing like giveaways, like where they're like, hey everybody, like this, and like I'm gonna give one of you guys a free Sonicare toothbrush, and
mm,
he's like still a student, he hasn't even graduated,
Oh wow.
and like he posts these like really shitty cases where we'll see them and we'll be like, oh my god, dude, that's like I wouldn't post it because I'd be like if another dentist sees it, it's like something that you can be like get in trouble for because it's like
disbarred.
almost
Yeah,
malpractice
disbarred.
how bad it is.
Yeah.
He
And
gets
he's
disbarred.
posting it, and then like there's like because like it looks nice though, like
Or gets reactions.
like his followers are like, whoa, dude, you're so good. I can't wait till you graduate and I can like come to you. And me and my friends are like, oh my god, dude, like
Yeah.
I don't even understand how he can post that and not see like his big mess up he did because he's showing his like own X-ray of like where he messed up
Yeah.
that he doesn't realize it
Oh,
because he's a student and like we're
well,
just like oh.
maybe that
Yeah.
internet will help consumers. Someone will point that out, and then he will not be rated
That's
well.
true. Well, I mean, they could still. I mean, they still might get a lot of followers on Instagram, and people be like, "Oh, cool," and not see the reviews
Yeah.
or whatever. So.
But dentistry is also like a big field where they like it's like a kind of like an unwritten rule. It's like you don't, no matter how bad another dentist
Oh, you
is,
don't pull him under the
badmouth them.
bus.
That's
Oh yeah.
funny.
So one aspect of the internet is all the social media. It's like that one like he's like my friend's older brother, like that Dr. Snapchat guy. He was on like that.
Brother Breakfast Club.
Yeah, he's been on the Breakfast Club. He was on one of those like reality shows, like the Bridezilla shows. I don't know what it's called, but like
Hmm.
where he was like working on some lady that wanted to smile for like a wedding, and she's freaking out on him
Hmm.
on TV. So like he's getting like real famous, but you have to have like one of those personalities like Daniel's little fake persona,
Yeah.
where like you could do it to get money, but like I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna make enough money anyways, so I don't really want to go make.
Yeah.
He's-
You don't have to be an entertainer as well.
I guess unless you were doing it to get clients, right? Like if you were doing a YouTube Q&A type of thing,
Yeah.
and you wanted to get new clients, like if you're just starting your practice and have no.
Yeah. I mean, I know like
Sure.
for the my braces the second time around when I was looking, I looked on Yelp and then yeah, I read the reviews and then I also saw just they were just advertising that they give free retainers for life, which I don't know if it's an industry standard, but I saw that I'm like, okay, that seems kind of cool. Um,
What is your
so
take on that, Michael?
so
Are
I,
retainers really cheap or?
I'm sure they're dirt cheap.
I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be too expensive to make. It's just what's it called? Sorry, I think someone's this. But yeah, it's like retainers are like for I don't know because that's ortho stuff and it's like insurance. So that's the other thing. They don't teach us anything about insurance, and
Mm.
that's why I'm saying like you got to spend 5 years. That's like a whole other thing. It's just like learning insurance for that like state that you're like working in
Mm.
is a whole big pain. Because like I've just kind of been learning the public insurance, like the Medicaid and like in New York. I kind of understand it now.
Okay.
But yeah,
Actually, that's
yeah,
funny.
the retainer thing. I remember like I think Rebecca used to lose her retainer a lot. My mom used to go nuts because they're like I think like 200 to 400.
Oh
Holy.
wow.
But I mean, I can't imagine it's just acrylic and like wiring. So like the actual materials.
And mine's not even the wire one. It's just fully plastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's a new one. I know. Like mine is like I have been using my same retainer from like high school. So like.
Mm.
So it's an old one, but yeah, all the new retainers I see now are all like clear, nice ones that you can wear all day too.
Right.
And those ones are even cheaper material. Like because I know it's something's cheap in our school when you can take it for free without asking for permission.
Mhm.
I know it must be dirt cheap. So
Yeah.
They don't care
yeah,
about it.
that's like one positive is like yeah. But I don't know. For me, the only way I would trust a dentist because it's like scary because most of us are like a good 80% of us are like good people and like wouldn't do anything. But then if you do get that one kid, like the third year kid,
He's
it's
a
like,
little
oh my
risky.
god, like the damage he could do. Because there's no one that regulates us after we graduate. It's like nobody. You have your own business. Nobody really checks what you do,
Right.
and patients don't really know anything about what we do.
Yeah.
Like,
Similar to a
like,
mechanic, in a sense.
huh?
Similar to a mechanic in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I think I told you guys a story like where that this girl like we were working in the oral surgery clinic and she did an extraction where she messed up so bad that I was like horrified and I was like trying to stand behind the patient
Yeah.
so he wouldn't see my face every time she kept making it worse and worse and worse.
Oh
Shoot.
god.
And like at the end of the day she got the tooth out and just from her personality she's like yeah, we got it out, it's all out, like we did a really good job. And the patient's like, oh, thank you so much, you were such a good doctor. And I was just like, oh my god, bro, like
You almost-
you know what she just did to you, like you would be so mad. But like
Wow.
and he's just like, yeah, and he looks to me and he's like, yeah, isn't she like a great dentist, Michael? And I was just like, yeah,
Service with a smile.
Yeah.
It's just, no.
You
I
brought...
wonder.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, on the no regulations thing, I wonder because I know with like advertising cosmetic surgery, there's a lot of regulations online. Like you can't guarantee things on Facebook. You can't do before and after pictures. I wonder if there's those kind of regulations with dentistry online. Oh, like there's the HIPAA compliance law, which is like
Yeah,
you
I
can't
think as long as you get the patient to sign, yeah, you're good to go. But you definitely can't like
record calls.
post their case without
Oh.
their permission. You gotta definitely get them to sign.
Oh, okay.
What's the other thing?
There's
Wait,
one
keep
where
going.
you like so one tool we use is like recording calls, so you can like see if the incoming calls you're getting are relevant or not. And only with cosmetic surgery or any medical related things, we're not allowed. Like we can show them who called and the number, but we can't show them the length of the call or the actual.
What are you
listen to the actual
referring
call.
to when talking about calls?
Like when if you call if you Google a dentistry office and you call on the number
Oh,
on there
on the Google site
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, yeah.
and you call or use the call extension and call them,
Yeah.
like with a lot of businesses they can record
Mhm.
and like I guess it's legal to listen into the calls, but with like in the medical field they have this thing called the HIPAA compliance law, which states you can't disclose or record
Right, because there's
any
like
calls.
patient,
Right.
client, or whatever you call that thing.
And you have to go through like this 2 or 3 year process to get approved to be able to do that.
Gotcha.
So I was just wondering if maybe there were like some restrictions for dentistry.
I'm not sure about it from like the sales aspect of it, but I know like just like yeah, like we can't talk, like we can talk about cases, but we can't use the patient's name. I know with pictures because ours is just centered around the mouth. I think if you don't have their eyes, and as long as you have just their mouth, you're okay. I've seen other times in our clinic, or like when we're showed things in class, like examples, it's like if they do have to have the whole patient's face, they just like put like something to cover their eyes. And I think as long as you cover their eyes,
Mm.
it's okay. But I know because my primary like doctor back in Redwood City,
Mm-hmm.
he uses Google Glasses to record everything, so he can write like more thorough notes after you leave.
Mm.
And he has this thing where you have to sign if it's okay for him to use it, and if you refuse, he'll like he won't wear his like Google Glasses to record it.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much just HIPAA. Is like you can't talk about anything
You
like a
meant
patient's privacy to anyone else.
you
Mm.
mentioned something about they don't teach you anything about the handling insurance companies, which I find interesting because
Oh
that's
yeah,
going to be the primary
no,
like
I know.
focus, and it reminds me of like how in high school, you don't learn how to file taxes or kind of real life stuff.
Or what a
Um,
loan is.
The business thing, like if you have faculty that like you and you go ask them to, like on the side like how they do theirs,
mhm.
like they'll give you some tips. But a lot of like the faculty that are or a lot of the dentists that have become faculty are faculty for a reason where like they've hurt themselves and they don't practice anymore,
Mm.
or they're like practice isn't successful and they're doing this on the side until their practice like takes off or something like that. Because like that's what I was thinking about the other day. Is like, why would you, if you're making like 150K, if you can make 150K out the gates, like why would you go become like a teacher at a school
Mm.
where like because like I hear my faculty complain about it so much that they get paid so little,
Mm.
and so like I don't think like they wouldn't really know what they're doing. But yeah, they don't teach us anything about the business side of it. Like it's like
Interesting.
well, once we get out, it's like you just got to learn on your own. Hopefully, you have like a good mentor that can teach you.
Yeah.
God forbid I go to school to learn something about this stuff.
No, it's. I remember I even signed up because like I was getting worried about it, and I signed up for like a business club thing.
Hmm.
And I went to the business club, and they were just talking about like stocks and how to invest in stocks.
Mm.
And I was like, I'm not coming to dental school to learn about stocks. I'm gonna run a dental class. Like, what am I gonna learn from a dentist about stocks that I can't like just like go Google or ask like one of my friends that's like in finance like how to do it. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just like that was like their big like business thing.
Interesting.
They started. We have a class now that's like practice management where they kind of teach you about this,
Hmm.
but it's like it's not really, and it's so different state to state that it's like it doesn't really matter.
Right.
You just learn once you
Once you get
graduate.
out
You just
there.
like learn on the go, and hope you get sued.
Selma has a question here. So dentists don't have to become members of an organization like a dental organization for professionals. I think she's referring to the whole, once you're a dentist, nobody tracks you kind of deal. So yeah, I guess because
Like
lawyers have
bar.
either the board of whatever.
Yeah, like that's the licensing exam. But there's like a
Okay.
few different dental societies. There's too much, which I got to research that after I graduate because it's like there's big national ones that I'm aware of, and like I think we're members while we're in school automatically. Then afterwards you have to pay dues
Oh.
to get in there, and you get like small like benefits and stuff from being in them.
Hmm.
But I know there's like a California one, there's like a Santa Clara County one, a San Mateo County one, like so
Is
there's
that
a bunch of
for
different organizations.
is that for like referrals? Like if they want to refer to an orthodontist, like what's the reason?
Yeah, I think it's like one aspect of it is like mixing or just socially, like you meet other dentists in
Networking.
that area, especially for specialists,
Mm.
because their whole business works off like general dentists sending them referrals. Otherwise, you're never going to go straight to an oral surgeon or an orthodontist. Usually, the main route to go there is like your general dentist is like, oh, it's time for you to get braces. Let me send you to an orthodontist that we really love and trust or something, and they'll send you that one.
Right.
So that's one way for them to make their business. I think there's like slight benefits you get by working with like certain groups. Like maybe you get discount on like if a certain like Santa Clara County place is affiliated with like someone that makes like dental instruments. Maybe if you're a member, you get 15% off or something. So there's like small like benefits here and there.
Hmm.
But yeah,
So it's not so. Yeah, I guess I don't know how the
like I think it's like a union. Like you don't have to be in it, but it's like a big benefit to you if you are in it. It's like it protects you a little bit more,
Hmm.
and like it just like benefits you. So I think it's just,
Gotcha.
What were you gonna say?
Um, I was just gonna refer to lawyers and how they get disbarred and stuff, but I guess if they're in a lawsuit, somebody can claim malpractice, and then
Hmm.
that's how that whole thing. And I
Can they
guess
do that in dentistry? Like just
yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. If a patient wants to sue someone, they get like another dentist opinion,
Hmm.
and then you go on in front of like
A board.
so the patient presents like the dentist that's like you have to agree to like want to like help the patient if it's like really that bad,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and you go like testify on their behalf, and I think there's like a whole board of dentists that like grill you. Like they grill the dentist that's being accused, they grill the dentist that's like saying why they didn't do a good job or whatever.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's how you like use it, like your license and stuff.
For how
Is
long
I
would it,
think
or would it be?
I don't know, like that guy. I hope no Assyrians watches, but that guy that was like fondling girls in San Jose. I mean, he's in
Oh
Iran now
Jesus.
practicing, so I think it's for life. If depending on the
I guess
offense,
it
like
depends on
maybe.
the case, probably.
Yeah, they probably look at it
But
case by
but I
case.
think that's why it's weird because I think it's just I don't know if that's separate from like if you're actually getting sued by like the state. Like Nabil would know more about this because he's like in law school. I don't know if just losing your license is just like within like the dentistry community, like the licensing people that you just that's like getting sued by them and you like are
Or
that's
is
a
it the
malpractice suit
state?
is just specific to them.
Right.
And then the patient suing you for other stuff is I don't know what courts handle like getting sued. Is that like civil lawsuits and stuff? Getting sued? I don't know.
Um.
I should know too. I was pretty low, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I was as well.
I don't remember. But I'm sure like these cases, as if Better Call Saul's taught me anything, I'm sure it's the kind of thing where you have to prove that you've like learned or whatever. I'm sure that could be
Oh
some of
yeah,
the
yeah.
cases.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be like very very clear that
Hmm.
like the
right.
guy did malpractice because even there's so many things in dentistry that it's like things happen like messing up wise
Mhm.
Hmm.
and like you could easily just like blame it on like oh like there wasn't enough as long as you explain it. There's so many things in dentistry if you just explain to the patient beforehand what the risks are
Mhm.
and like you cover your ass like that way where you're just like oh there's like a lot of cavities we're gonna try to save the tooth and like take out all like the decay but if it's too deep you might need a root canal and it's like so maybe the cavities were too deep and you need a root canal or
Mhm.
maybe you messed up and went deeper than you should have
Right.
but as long as
Hmm.
you warn the patient then you're just like okay well there's
Right.
like even if you messed up they can't really sue you for that
And
because
I'm
it's
sure you
like
got, as a
You gotta know.
dentist, you need some room to like get in there. I mean, I don't know how easy it is to make errors, but I could imagine if you didn't have a way to protect yourself, it would be so hard to just do your job. Um,
hmm.
With all the risks.
But the other thing is like the patients don't really know either that's like the scary
I
thing
was gonna say, yeah.
it's like you don't know if someone messed you up or not unless you go to another dentist. That's the only really way you're
unless it
gonna find
hurts.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And
even
even
if it
then, they
hurts,
could
like
just spin it.
yeah, the dentist can just say, "Oh, that's normal." Like even after I did that root canal for that girl recently that I was like freaked out about. She kept telling me it hurts,
Mhm.
and then like I asked like the specialist about it at my school,
Mhm.
and he's just like, "Oh yeah, that's normal. It can hurt at like a day or two after. Sometimes that happens." And I'm just like, I just told her, I'm like, "Yeah, sometimes that happens."
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
that's true. Because it's not like you know anything about,
Yeah.
unless they make a visible like, oh shoot.
Unless blood's squirting out of
Yeah.
your
No,
gums.
like that's like really obvious. Like one of my friends, like after she did like a filling, you're supposed to polish it,
Hmm.
and I don't know what the hell, because you got to be really stupid to like mess up those types of things.
Mhm.
And she like with the polishing instrument, which like the polishing instrument is like not that hard. She took off a whole chunk of like this lady's cheek,
Oh no.
and like
Ah.
I'm like, how the hell do you even do that, dude?
Ouch.
Like even like it's just like it's like to me it's like a lot easier. Like it's very easy. Like the hand skills part of dentistry. I don't know why if it's like I'm playing video games or like
Yes.
something like that. Like I've
Definitely
got like
that.
dexterity.
Yeah.
But to me that part's always been like a cakewalk. It's more of just like the patient aspect of it. Like that are like if it's like a scared patient or something like that. That's like more difficult like managing them communications.
Hmm.
Right.
And like also that's like a small part too. The main thing for me is like the bureaucracy of the school just takes like everything takes
A
like
long
four times
time.
as long as it should as if you were somewhere else. So so yeah, when she did that and she told me, I was just like, dude,
How?
like how?
Yeah.
And it's like you can't really explain that to a patient like, oh yeah, I accidentally took off half your cheek.
Spinning this
Like
brush.
that's just part of the procedure. Like it happens. Like it's like no, like that's something you guys do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, unless it's so dramatic, there's no
Yeah.
way you would know.
Well, we breezed through an hour here. Is there anything on our minds that we want to further explore? Let's see. How's the
Wish you guys just so I could get your opinions on how to do this VR setup.
Yes,
Oh
VR.
yeah. You haven't opened it up yet, or
Now I opened it up and then I realized I have to organize my room before I can set it up. Because I have to like drill in some walls and stuff.
right?
So I was just like cleaning the room is gonna take me all day because I was studying for that exam.
Hmm.
Everything when I have exams and I'm studying, like I kind of like, stop cleaning up and like organizing things.
Hmm.
So it's like the room right now is a complete mess, and I gotta shift everything around like to have like a play area where I don't like punch walls and stuff.
Wait, the
Yeah.
sensors, they don't have to be drilled in though, right? You can have like, can't you have them set up on tripod kind of thing, or?
Yeah, but I don't have any tripods, and I checked them on Amazon. It was like $40,
Oh,
and like I supposedly it
you can
comes
come.
with like, which I also like. To me, that's easier. Like drilling in a wall and just putting spackle over it is like pretty easy.
Hmm.
All right. Well, even though
Finally.
we're at the tail end of this,
Salmi Kala is here.
Salmi
Oh.
Kala, we've been discussing with her a lot about
put in your
dentistry and finance,
And the internet.
the internet.
Yes.
Do you have anything on your mind to talk about with either Michael or Salmi?
I will have to listen to the podcast to see
To see what we
they...
discussed.
Yes.
Also, where
yes.
were you?
Oh yeah, you can.
I was at Stanford listening to a quartet musical afternoon. It was really inspirational, and
Wait, quartet? What is that?
that's a
Like the
combination of.
barbershop,
Say that again?
isn't it like the barbershop quartet? That's the same thing, right?
With violinists, a viola, and a bass, and all string
like a little
instruments
orchestra
playing.
thing.
Orchestra.
Interesting.
Yes, it inspired me to learn more about music.
Interesting.
So I'm just wondering, maybe next time we will have a discussion about poetry next time, hopefully.
Well,
But
Oh.
Ooh.
if Gerardo joins us. But looking forward to.
Seeing the instant replay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, if that is all, then we can wrap this up. So, thank you all to the viewers for tuning in, and until next time, toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.